This video contains audio content only. There are no visual elements or images accompanying the audio. If you're expecting to see video footage, please note that this is an intentional audio-only presentation. We recommend listening to this content rather than watching the screen. Thank you for your understanding and enjoy the audio. Welcome. Ever wonder about the mysterious group of mammals called Uerchonta? Join us as we unravel the fascinating story of primates, colugos, and treeshrews, exploring their shared ancestry, unique adaptations, and puzzling evolutionary relationships. We'll delve into their fossil history, examine their diverse lifestyles, and tackle the big questions surrounding their place on the mammalian family tree. Get ready to discover the secrets of these enigmatic creatures and gain a deeper understanding of our own primate heritage. Uerchonta. The name itself suggests authority, translating from Greek as true rulers. But for the mammals it describes, primates, colugos, and treeshrews, the idea of dominance seems paradoxical. If their reign ever truly existed, it has long faded into shadows, hidden beneath layers of evolutionary uncertainty. Rather than undisputed rulers, the Uerchonta are enigmatic subjects in a kingdom we have yet to fully understand. Why should we care about this obscure group? Because we humans are primates, and primates sit squarely within Uerchonta. Deciphering the origins and early evolution of this group is therefore akin to uncovering our own ancestral story. Yet, despite their significance, the Uerchontans remain mysterious. Their evolutionary history, woven through fragmented fossils and conflicting molecular signals, refuses simple explanation. To understand the Uerchonta, we must first acknowledge their puzzling diversity. Primates, the most familiar members, present an astonishing range of forms and lifestyles. From tiny, nocturnal mouse lemurs of Madagascar to powerful African gorillas, primates have colonized nearly every forested habitat. They share distinctive traits: grasping hands and feet, forward-facing eyes for depth perception, and relatively large brains. But how these characteristics arose remains a puzzle that scientists are actively piecing together. If primates are familiar, colugos, often called flying lemurs, are their bizarre cousins. These mammals, native to Southeast Asian forests, glide effortlessly between trees using a large skin membrane stretched across their limbs and body. Their nocturnal habits and specialized herbivorous diet of leaves and fruit set them apart from primates, yet their exact evolutionary relationship remains unclear. Are colugos genuinely close relatives of primates, or did their gliding evolve independently, as a remarkable example of convergent evolution? This question lies at the heart of ongoing debate about their place within Uerchonta. Treeshrews, the third and perhaps most puzzling Uerchontan group, further complicate the story. These small mammals inhabit forests from southern China to Southeast Asia, resembling long-snouted squirrels at first glance. Yet, beneath their rodent-like exterior lies a body structure surprisingly similar to that of primates and colugos. Treeshrews vary widely in habits. Some, like the pen-tailed treeshrew, gracefully traverse tree branches, while others, such as the Indian treeshrew, prefer terrestrial foraging. Their ecological versatility raises fundamental questions about what lifestyle the ancestral Uerchontan might have adopted. Were these earliest ancestors tree-living specialists, similar to many primates, or did they occupy more general habitats, closer to those inhabited by modern treeshrews? Given the diversity and significance of Uerchontans, why do their evolutionary relationships remain unresolved? The answer lies partly in the challenges posed by their fossil record. Fossilization is a rare and selective process, biased toward organisms with sturdy skeletons living in environments that favor preservation. Early Uerchontans, likely small and forest-dwelling, left behind few fossils. When such remains do surface, they often consist of fragmented teeth and jaws, providing limited clues about their full anatomy or lifestyles. Reconstructing complete evolutionary pathways from these sparse fragments is akin to trying to read an entire book from scattered pages. Yet fossils aren't the only source of uncertainty. Molecular studies, which use genetic information to reconstruct evolutionary relationships, also introduce complications. Different genes sometimes tell conflicting stories, influenced by methodological choices or the availability of genetic data. Reconciling these conflicting signals, fossil versus molecular, one gene versus another, is one of the great ongoing challenges in evolutionary biology. The ultimate unanswered question about Uerchanta revolves around their common ancestor. What did this creature look like? How did it live? And where did it thrive? Currently, answers to these questions remain elusive, hidden in gaps within the fossil record and the complexities of interpreting molecular evolution. Yet scientists persist, hoping to discover more fossils from the critical Paleocene epoch, the period shortly after the extinction of dinosaurs, when Uerchantans are believed to have emerged. New analytical techniques and broader genetic studies promise further insights. If scientists successfully unravel this evolutionary mystery, it will fundamentally reshape our understanding of mammalian evolution, illuminating the ancestral traits that eventually gave rise to primates and, by extension, ourselves. The name Uerchanta, true rulers, is perhaps less ironic than symbolic. These mammals may not dominate ecosystems today as apex predators or vast populations. Yet, their evolutionary lineage profoundly influenced mammalian history, giving rise to some of the most cognitively complex animals ever to inhabit the Earth. Primates, the crown jewels of the Uerchantan family tree, evolved remarkable intelligence, social complexity, and adaptability. Humans, as primates, have leveraged these traits into ecological dominance unprecedented in the natural world. Understanding Uerchantan evolution is therefore not simply academic curiosity, it is an exploration of our own evolutionary origins. It involves peering backward in time, reconstructing the ecological pressures and evolutionary processes that shaped the earliest Uerchantans. These animals navigated ancient forests, tested new adaptations, and diversified into forms both strange and familiar. Their evolutionary pathways eventually led to a primate lineage capable of extraordinary cognitive feats, including self-awareness, language, culture, and technology. The unresolved questions surrounding Uerchanta invite us into a deeper contemplation of our place in nature. We know surprisingly little about how this group, our distant cousins and direct ancestors, emerged, evolved, and diversified. Even as we sequence genomes and examine fossils under microscopes, crucial details remain obscured, reminding us that the evolutionary story is far more complex than we often imagine. But complexity is no barrier to understanding. Each discovery, whether a tiny fossil tooth from an ancient forest floor or a revealing genetic mutation, brings us closer to unraveling the story. Every new insight deepens our appreciation of life's interconnectedness, reminding us that our existence results from countless evolutionary experiments, successful adaptations, and ecological shifts spanning millions of years. The Uerchantans, with their mysterious past and puzzling diversity, embody this complexity. Their evolutionary reign may seem tenuous, their status as true rulers questionable. Yet, their legacy is clear. From their ancient lineage arose creatures capable of gliding effortlessly through the air, scampering adeptly across forest floors, and grasping branches with precision. Most importantly, they gave rise to primates, a lineage that eventually produced humans, whose questions now circle back, ironically, to deciphering the origins of the group itself. Thus, the reign of Uerchanta, though filled with uncertainties, holds profound significance. Exploring this enigmatic group is not just about understanding obscure mammals from deep time. It is fundamentally about understanding ourselves. As scientists piece together this puzzle, they trace the evolutionary roots that connect us to the broader tapestry of mammalian life. In doing so, they help us glimpse the processes, events, and adaptations that have culminated in humanity itself. For now, the kingdom of Uerchanta remains shrouded in questions, its origins hidden, and relationships unresolved. Yet, within these uncertainties lie exciting scientific opportunities that may ultimately clarify how we became human. The reign of the Uerchanta, enigmatic as it is, still exerts profound influence. Its mysteries beckon scientists forward, promising to deepen our understanding of life's complex evolutionary dance. The story of Uerchanta lies scattered in fragments, pieces of bone, isolated teeth, and rare fossilized skeletons buried beneath layers of sediment. These remains, whispers from deep time, offer tantalizing glimpses into the evolutionary history of primates, colugos, and treeshrews. But these glimpses, captivating as they are, rarely reveal the entire story. Each fossil discovery is both a step forward and a reminder of how much remains unknown. Among the most enigmatic fossils linked to early Uerchantans is Purgatorius, a tiny mammal from North America's Paleocene epoch, approximately 65 million years ago. Known primarily from minute teeth and jaw fragments, this ancient creature is thought by some paleontologists to occupy a position near the base of the primate lineage. Its teeth, with pointed cusps and distinctive wear patterns, hint at a diet combining insects, fruits, and plant material, a versatile, omnivorous lifestyle somewhat resembling modern tree shrews. Yet, despite these intriguing hints, the precise evolutionary position of Purgatorius remains uncertain. Some studies confidently place it among the earliest primates, suggesting it was close to the ancestral stock from which modern primates evolved. Others, however, argue it was a more generalized mammal, only distantly related to Uarchontans. This debate underscores a broader challenge facing researchers. Fossils from this ancient period are fragmentary, forcing scientists to infer entire lifestyles and relationships from isolated clues. In contrast to Purgatorius's fragmented remains, the discovery of Placiodopus cookae provides a more detailed picture of early Uarchontan life. Unearthed from Paleocene deposits in Wyoming, this fossil includes a nearly complete skull, much of the skeleton, and limbs, allowing paleontologists to reconstruct its appearance and habits with remarkable clarity. Placiodopus cookae was an arboreal creature, adapted for climbing trees, though its climbing method was unlike the agile leaps of modern primates. Instead, its relatively short forelimbs and powerful hind legs suggest it moved cautiously through the trees, relying on strength rather than acrobatic grace. Its skull, elongated and rodent-like, held teeth well suited for eating fruit, seeds, and possibly insects, providing evidence of a versatile diet. Intriguingly, despite its arboreal adaptations, Placiodopus possessed a small brain compared to modern primates, implying that high cognitive abilities were not yet essential in these early arboreal mammals. Detailed skeletal studies reveal additional insights. Its vertebral column and rib structure indicate flexibility combined with stability, necessary for tree-dwelling mammals that navigated complex forest canopies. Clawed fingers and toes, visible in fossilized digits, confirm that early Uarchontans had not yet evolved the specialized nails characteristic of later primates. These anatomical features provide a snapshot of evolutionary experimentation, illustrating how early mammals tested different approaches to arboreal life. Moving beyond these iconic fossils, the Uarchontan fossil record also introduces us to smaller, more specialized creatures known as micromomids. Found in North American deposits from the Paleocene and Eocene epochs, micromomids were diminutive primates weighing only a few grams. Despite their small size, their teeth exhibit surprisingly specialized traits. Complex premolars suggest these tiny mammals specialized in eating insects or other small prey, while their simpler molars retained primitive characteristics inherited from earlier mammals. The coexistence of closely related micromomids, like Dryomomys dulcifer and Tinamomys tribos, in the same fossil site suggests these animals carved out distinct ecological niches, minimizing competition and enabling multiple species to thrive simultaneously. Yet even these fossils, insightful as they are, raise further questions. The fossil record, while invaluable, is notoriously incomplete. Preservation favors organisms that lived in environments conducive to fossilization, places like riverbanks, lakesides, or floodplains. Early Uarchontans, small and forest-dwelling, often inhabited environments less conducive to fossilization. Thus, their remains are rare, fragmentary, and scattered, forcing paleontologists to rely heavily on inference and comparative anatomy. Scientists counteract these challenges with meticulous techniques. Comparative anatomy is central, as researchers carefully compare fossil features with those of living primates, colugos, and treeshrews. By studying how bone structures correlate with lifestyles in living mammals, paleontologists can make educated guesses about fossil organisms' habits, diets, and movements. Teeth are especially valuable, revealing subtle clues about diet, social behavior, and ecological niches. Techniques such as phylogenetic analysis, constructing evolutionary trees based on shared characteristics, further help paleontologists clarify relationships among ancient mammals. Another essential tool is molecular clock dating, a method using genetic data from modern species to estimate when lineages diverged. While fossils themselves do not provide genetic material, paleontologists and geneticists collaborate, using fossil evidence to calibrate molecular clocks, thereby achieving more precise timelines for evolutionary events. However, reconciling molecular data with the fossil record remains challenging, as these methods sometimes produce conflicting evolutionary scenarios. Despite these limitations, fossil evidence provides crucial insights into Euarchontan origins. Early fossils like Purgatorius and Placiodopus demonstrate a pattern of evolutionary exploration, animals adapting to arboreal lifestyles, developing versatile diets, and gradually accumulating traits that would eventually lead to primates, colugos, and tree shrews. Micromomeids represent experiments in specialization, showing how even the tiniest ecological niches provided opportunities for diversification and survival. These fossil fragments, scattered and incomplete, paint a vivid but unfinished portrait of ancient forests teeming with evolutionary experiments. Each new discovery adds clarity, filling in gaps about diet, behavior, and ecological roles of these long-vanished creatures. Fossils represent direct links to the past, tangible evidence that helps bridge the immense gaps between the first Euarchontans and their modern descendants. Ultimately, understanding these ancient mammals helps us reconstruct not only their world but also the evolutionary forces shaping ours. Their adaptations to trees, their diverse diets, and their exploratory evolutionary paths laid crucial foundations for later mammals. Without these early pioneers, modern primates, including humans, might never have emerged. The fossil record of Euarchonta is more than just a series of scientific curiosities. It is a profound narrative of life's persistence and adaptability, an evolutionary drama played out over tens of millions of years. While gaps remain, each fossil discovery represents another vital clue, another piece in a complex puzzle stretching back to the dawn of the mammalian era. Paleontologists continue searching, driven by curiosity, motivated by questions unanswered and mysteries unsolved. The ghosts of the Euarchontan past are elusive, often hidden beneath layers of rock and sediment. Yet, as these fragments slowly come to light, they provide more than answers. They remind us of how interconnected life is, how deeply rooted our present world is in an ancient past still waiting to be fully discovered. In their silence, these fossils speak volumes, urging us forward in our search, guiding us toward understanding the deep roots of our shared evolutionary history. Within the mysterious and diverse group known as Euarchonta, comprising primates, colugos, and treeshrews, one lineage stands apart, puzzling biologists and defying clear categorization. The treeshrews, small mammals native to the forests of South and Southeast Asia, are perhaps the most perplexing members of this family. At first glance, they resemble long-nosed squirrels, agile and alert. Yet beneath this superficial appearance lies a complex evolutionary story, one that remains partly hidden even today. Treeshrews exhibit remarkable ecological diversity, occupying a variety of niches within their forest habitats. Some species, like the pen-tailed treeshrew, Tolocercus loei, spend much of their lives high in the forest canopy, leaping nimbly from branch to branch. Others, such as the Indian treeshrew, Anathona elioti, have adopted terrestrial lifestyles, foraging along the forest floor. Their adaptability suggests an evolutionary flexibility that may hold clues about the ancestral state of all Euarchontans. Their physical adaptations reflect this diversity. The arboreal pen-tailed treeshrew has a distinctive tail, partially naked, with a bushy tip, that aids balance during agile movements through treetops. Its diet also distinguishes it. Unusually for mammals, it regularly consumes fermented nectar from particular flower species. This dietary habit means the pen-tailed treeshrew routinely ingests alcohol, a rare adaptation offering intriguing insights into mammalian dietary evolution. By contrast, ground-dwelling treeshrews display more generalized body forms suited for terrestrial mobility, demonstrating that this lineage explored many ecological possibilities as it evolved. Yet treeshrews differ from other mammals, and indeed from their Euarchontan cousins, in more profound ways. One remarkable trait is their approach to parenting, known as absentee maternal care. Female treeshrews visit their young infrequently, sometimes only every other day, providing a single large meal of nutrient-rich milk. This unusual reproductive strategy requires that young tree shrews possess significant physiological adaptations. Large stomachs capable of digesting large, infrequent meals, and an early capacity for thermoregulation, allowing them to maintain body temperature independently of maternal warmth. Such adaptations hint at an evolutionary path markedly distinct from most other mammals. Behaviorally, tree shrews also differ markedly from their Uerchantan relatives. They exhibit constant vigilance, their nervous, skittish behavior and adaptation to the many predators sharing their forest habitats. Despite their small size, tree shrews use vocal communication extensively. Calls vary widely between species, and even between populations of the same species, suggesting complex social structures and possibly playing an essential role in mate recognition and reproductive isolation. These behavioral traits indicate that, while physically resembling rodents or squirrels, tree shrews have taken their own evolutionary path, marked by distinct anatomical, physiological, and behavioral specializations. But it is precisely this distinctiveness that complicates their placement within Uerchanta. Scientists have long debated the precise evolutionary relationship between tree shrews, colugos, and primates. At the heart of this debate lies a fundamental question: do tree shrews represent an ancestral lineage, preserving primitive traits shared by early Uerchantans, or are they a specialized offshoot that diverged early and evolved unique adaptations independent of other Uerchantan branches? One hypothesis, supported by anatomical evidence and certain molecular markers, suggests tree shrews and colugos share a close evolutionary relationship. Known as the Sundatheria hypothesis, this idea is partly supported by the presence of shared genetic elements, known as SPD, elements, found in both groups. Their geographic distribution, limited primarily to the Sundaland region of Southeast Asia, further strengthens the argument. Sundaland's fluctuating sea levels and changing land connections likely provided the geographical backdrop influencing their shared evolutionary histories. However, molecular data do not always yield clear or consistent conclusions. Other studies place tree shrews closer to primates or even propose that they might belong entirely outside Uerchanta, nearer to rodents and rabbits within the group Gliers. This radical proposition, though supported by certain genetic analyses, runs counter to substantial anatomical evidence. Tree shrews, after all, possess skeletal features remarkably similar to primates, such as grasping hands and specialized wrist bones. The continuing uncertainty highlights both the complexity of evolutionary biology and the challenges researchers face when interpreting conflicting molecular and anatomical evidence. Adding complexity to the puzzle, the fossil record provides limited clues to tree shrew evolution. Fossil tree shrews dating back to the Eocene epoch closely resemble living species, suggesting that, despite millions of years of environmental and ecological shifts, their body forms have remained remarkably consistent. Most fossilized tree shrew remains are scarce and fragmentary, complicating efforts to reconstruct their early evolutionary pathways. Still, these fossils indicate that tree shrews diversified primarily during the last 20 million years, likely driven by the dramatic geological changes in Southeast Asia's landscape and climate. So why does understanding the evolutionary placement of tree shrews matter? Why does their uncertain position within Uerchanta provoke such sustained scientific interest? Firstly, placing tree shrews correctly within the mammalian family tree has implications far beyond classification. Understanding their evolutionary origins can help scientists reconstruct the characteristics of ancestral Uerchantans, the mammals from which primates, colugos, and tree shrews arose. If tree shrews closely resemble these ancestors, studying their biology can directly inform our understanding of early mammalian evolution, illuminating the traits and ecological strategies that laid the foundation for the success of primates and their eventual descendants, including humans. Conversely, if tree shrews represent a highly specialized lineage that diverged significantly from ancestral Uerchantans, they illustrate the power of evolutionary experimentation, showing how mammals can independently evolve remarkable adaptations suited to their ecological niches. Their unusual behaviors, unique reproductive strategies, and dietary habits underscore that evolution is never linear. Instead, it explores diverse paths, responding to local environmental pressures and opportunities. Treeshrews, with their blend of ancestral traits and unique specializations, therefore challenge simplistic evolutionary narratives. They remind us that evolutionary relationships can be complex, messy, and difficult to untangle, especially when dealing with animals separated by tens of millions of years and countless environmental transformations. But rather than frustrating scientists, this complexity energizes research. Each new fossil discovery, each additional genetic sequence analyzed, brings the scientific community closer to understanding how these small mammals fit into the broader Uerchantan narrative. Ultimately, the Treeshrew enigma symbolizes broader questions in evolutionary biology. It invites us to consider how animals adapt to changing environments, how seemingly similar species can evolve dramatically different behaviors and morphologies, and how our interpretations of evolutionary relationships evolve as new evidence emerges. Treeshrews may indeed be a branch adrift within the Uerchanta tree, uncertainly placed, uniquely adapted, stubbornly resistant to clear classification. Yet, their mystery is precisely what makes them compelling. By studying these enigmatic mammals, scientists gain deeper insights into mammalian evolution itself, revealing hidden connections and surprising divergences in life's intricate evolutionary tapestry. In exploring the Treeshrew enigma, researchers confront evolutionary biology's complexity head-on. They face puzzles without easy answers, grappling with incomplete fossil records, conflicting genetic signals, and challenging anatomical interpretations. Yet within these challenges lie opportunities for discovery. With every fossil unearthed, every genome sequenced, and every behavior observed, the treeshrew's place within the Uerchanta tree grows clearer. Perhaps most importantly, unraveling the evolutionary story of treeshrews reminds us that the natural world remains filled with unanswered questions. Far from settled, evolutionary biology continues to evolve, offering fresh insights, renewed curiosity, and deeper appreciation for the extraordinary diversity of life on Earth. Among the mammals grouped under the name Uerchanta, primates, colugos, and treeshrews, one lineage continues to perplex biologists: the treeshrews. At first glance, they seem deceptively simple, squirrel-like mammals inhabiting the lush forests of South and Southeast Asia. Yet, beneath their modest exterior, treeshrews harbor remarkable secrets, unique behaviors, and evolutionary mysteries that challenge our understanding of mammalian evolution. Within Uerchanta, treeshrews remain outsiders, distinct, enigmatic, and difficult to place. Today, around 20 treeshrew species exist, spread across 5 genera, each adapted to a distinct lifestyle. Their variety showcases a surprising ecological flexibility. Consider the pen-tailed treeshrew, Talocercus loei, a small arboreal mammal adapted to life high in the forest canopy. With its distinctive tail, largely naked with a bushy tip, it moves gracefully through the branches. Remarkably, this treeshrew consumes nectar that naturally ferments, making it one of the few mammals regularly adapted to alcohol consumption. Such peculiar dietary behavior is virtually unique among mammals, highlighting how differently treeshrews have evolved from their closest relatives. In contrast, other treeshrews, such as the Indian treeshrew, Anathana elioti, have embraced life on the ground. They scurry quickly among leaf litter, foraging for insects, seeds, and small invertebrates. Their robust bodies and relatively shorter limbs demonstrate adaptations to terrestrial locomotion. Such marked differences in habitat, morphology, and behavior within a relatively small geographic range underline the remarkable adaptability of treeshrews. Treeshrews' behavioral uniqueness does not stop at their diverse lifestyles. Their reproductive habits defy mammalian norms. Unlike nearly all mammals, treeshrew mothers practice a peculiar parenting style called absentee maternal care. Female treeshrews visit their offspring infrequently, often only once every other day, to deliver a nutrient-rich milk meal. Between these sparse maternal visits, the infants must survive independently. Consequently, treeshrew offspring have evolved significant physiological adaptations, notably large stomachs to accommodate large, infrequent meals and the ability to regulate their own body temperature without maternal warmth. Such parenting strategies illustrate how profoundly treeshrews have diverged from typical mammalian behavior, setting them apart from primates, colugos, and most other mammals. Treeshrews are also surprisingly vocal. Their calls vary widely not just between species but even among populations of the same species. This acoustic diversity hints at complex social systems, species recognition mechanisms, and potential pathways toward reproductive isolation and speciation. Their nervous, alert demeanor, always wary of predators, further emphasizes their uniqueness, placing them behaviorally apart even from their closest relatives within Uerchonta. Given such extraordinary biological traits, the precise evolutionary relationship between treeshrews, primates, and colugos remains unclear. Anatomical evidence strongly suggests their inclusion within Uerchonta. Their skeletal structures, especially grasping hands, feet, and specialized wrist bones, echo adaptations seen clearly in primates and colugos. Yet genetic evidence complicates the picture, revealing conflicting signals that have so far prevented scientists from confidently placing treeshrews on the mammalian family tree. One prominent hypothesis, known as sundatheria, places treeshrews closely alongside colugos, separated from primates. Support for this theory comes from molecular studies that have identified shared genetic markers known as SPD elements between colugos and treeshrews, which suggest a common evolutionary path distinct from primates. Their overlapping geographical distribution in Southeast Asia further bolsters this hypothesis, as shifting sea levels and land bridges in the Sundaland region likely shaped the evolutionary histories of both groups. Yet molecular data does not always provide a clear consensus. Other genetic studies suggest a closer relationship between treeshrews and primates, excluding colugos. Still other studies, controversially, suggest placing treeshrews entirely outside Uerchonta, grouping them with rodents and rabbits in gyres. Though supported by certain molecular analyses, this radical proposal is difficult to reconcile with the substantial anatomical evidence linking treeshrews closely to primates and colugos. Resolving these conflicting genetic signals, often arising from complex evolutionary processes like incomplete lineage sorting, requires integrating anatomical, fossil, and molecular evidence more comprehensively. Unfortunately, the fossil record provides only limited assistance. Early treeshrew fossils from the Middle Eocene epoch, approximately 45 million years ago, bear striking resemblance to modern treeshrews. Species such as Eodendrogale share dental characteristics nearly identical to living smooth-tailed treeshrews, Dendrogale, suggesting morphological stability over tens of millions of years. Fossils linked to modern genera, particularly Tupaia, emerge primarily within the last few million years, suggesting treeshrew diversification is relatively recent. However, the scarcity of earlier, transitional fossil forms makes reconstructing treeshrew evolutionary history challenging. Despite these limitations, available fossils support the view of treeshrews as a lineage remarkably resistant to drastic anatomical change, despite millions of years of environmental shifts. Why, then, does the precise evolutionary position of treeshrews matter? Resolving their relationship within Uerchonta is more than a matter of scientific curiosity. It could profoundly reshape our understanding of mammalian evolution. If treeshrews closely resemble ancestral Uerchontans, studying their biology could illuminate the fundamental traits that enabled early mammals to diversify into primates, colugos, and treeshrews. Conversely, if treeshrews represent a specialized lineage diverging early, their unique adaptations and behaviors reveal alternative evolutionary pathways, demonstrating how mammals have repeatedly responded to environmental opportunities in innovative ways. The treeshrew puzzle therefore illustrates broader principles of evolutionary biology. Evolution rarely follows straightforward, linear paths. Instead, animals frequently experiment, diverging into unexpected niches, developing surprising adaptations, and defying neat categorization. Treeshrews embody this evolutionary complexity, resisting simplistic narratives and highlighting the diversity of life's evolutionary responses. Moreover, the continued scientific debate about treeshrew relationships underscores how evolutionary biology remains a dynamic field. Each new fossil discovery, each additional genetic analysis, and each detailed observation of behavior contributes incrementally to clarifying the evolutionary story. Treeshrews exemplify how ongoing scientific inquiry gradually refines our understanding, demonstrating that even seemingly simple mammals can harbor surprising secrets capable of reshaping entire evolutionary frameworks. Ultimately, tree shrews remind us of the humility required in evolutionary research. Their uncertain evolutionary status, distinct behaviors, and unique adaptations call for caution, flexibility, and openness to new evidence. They also highlight the interconnectedness of life, reminding us that our own evolutionary journey as primates is intimately tied to these lesser-known relatives. Treeshrews, Urshante's enigmatic outsiders, thus provide both a compelling scientific puzzle and a valuable lesson. Their mysterious evolutionary history illustrates the richness and complexity of life's evolutionary tapestry. Their diverse ecological roles demonstrate the adaptive possibilities available to mammals, and their unresolved placement within Uerchanta continues to inspire curiosity, scientific exploration, and a deeper appreciation for the surprising ways evolution unfolds. In studying tree shrews, we not only attempt to unravel their mysteries but also gain insights into our broader evolutionary heritage. As scientists delve deeper, discovering new fossils, interpreting genetic data, and observing tree shrews in their natural habitats, the evolutionary picture of Uerchanta becomes ever clearer, one intriguing discovery at a time. The story of Uerchanta is one of remarkable evolutionary transformation, a narrative of subtle beginnings leading to extraordinary diversity. Emerging in the shadowy forests of the late Cretaceous period, shortly after dinosaurs vanished from the Earth, Uerchantans, primates, colugos, and treeshrews embarked on distinct evolutionary paths. Each lineage explored different ecological opportunities, adapting in unique ways and developing characteristics that allowed them to flourish in their forested habitats. Though we cannot fully reconstruct the earliest Uerchantan ancestor, fossils and genetic studies provide enough clues to imagine its general form and lifestyle. It likely resembled a small, arboreal mammal, something like a primitive tree shrew, adapted to life among tree branches, probably nocturnal, and adept at maneuvering through dense forests. From this humble origin, the Uerchantan lineages diverged, each following a different evolutionary trajectory shaped by ecological pressures, environmental changes, and biological innovations. Among Uerchantans, primates stand out as evolutionary successes, developing traits that have made them highly effective tree-dwelling specialists. Their evolution was driven primarily by the challenges of navigating complex three-dimensional forest environments. This selective pressure led to grasping hands and feet, equipped with opposable thumbs and big toes, allowing precise control while climbing branches and grasping food. Forward-facing eyes evolved for improved depth perception and spatial judgment, essential when moving through the treetops. Color vision further enhanced their ability to detect ripe fruits and young leaves, dramatically increasing their dietary options. Perhaps most importantly, primates underwent significant brain expansion relative to body size. This enlargement fostered sophisticated cognitive abilities, enabling complex social interactions, problem-solving skills, and adaptability to varied environments. Primates' large brains and enhanced vision set them apart from other Uerchantans, enabling them to diversify into a multitude of species with diverse ecological strategies. Within the primate lineage, distinct groups arose. Lemurs, primarily found in Madagascar, retained many ancestral characteristics, such as reliance on smell and nocturnal activity. Monkeys diversified broadly across Africa, Asia, and later the Americas, exploiting numerous habitats and evolving further specializations. Apes, including humans, became the most cognitively advanced primates, characterized by significant social complexity, tool use, and problem-solving skills. Through millions of years, primates perfected arboreal adaptations, eventually giving rise to a species, humans, that transformed these traits into technological mastery. Colugos, or flying lemurs, represent another branch within Uerchanta, but their evolutionary path took an entirely different direction. Rather than perfecting climbing or leaping, colugos evolved an elegant mode of locomotion, gliding flight. Using an expansive membrane of skin called a patagium, colugos effortlessly glide between trees, covering substantial distances with remarkable accuracy. This evolutionary innovation demanded significant anatomical changes. Their limbs became elongated, their ribs flattened, and their entire body streamlined to maximize aerodynamic efficiency. Their extensive patagium, stretching between limbs and even fingers and toes, provides a large surface area, enabling efficient gliding for considerable distances. Adaptations for nocturnal life further refined Colugo biology. Large, forward-facing eyes allowed superb night vision, crucial for navigating safely through the forest canopy after dark. Specialized teeth and digestive systems enabled these mammals to subsist primarily on leaves, flowers, and fruit. Their herbivorous diet required adaptations for digesting tough, cellulose-rich vegetation, a dietary specialization contrasting sharply with their omnivorous primate and treeshrew relatives. Despite their remarkable adaptations, colugos remain relatively poorly understood. Their fossil record is extremely limited, leaving scientists uncertain about precisely when their gliding adaptations first appeared. Nevertheless, their specialized traits illustrate the extraordinary evolutionary creativity present within Uerchonta, an example of nature experimenting successfully with entirely new ways of life. Treeshrews, covered extensively in previous chapters, evolved along yet another distinctive path. While primates excelled in cognitive abilities and colugos specialized in gliding, treeshrews demonstrated remarkable versatility. Their evolutionary trajectory emphasized adaptability rather than specialization. Within the forests of South and Southeast Asia, they evolved diverse forms, from arboreal species that closely resemble the ancestral Uerchontan lifestyle to terrestrial species adapted to life on the forest floor. Treeshrews diversified rapidly, developing varied dietary strategies, unusual reproductive behaviors, and heightened vigilance to evade predators. Their evolutionary stability over millions of years, evident from the fossil record, suggests successful adaptation to the specific ecological niches available to them. Yet their precise evolutionary relationships within Uerchonta remain uncertain, highlighting the complexity and fluidity of mammalian evolutionary pathways. Viewed collectively, primates, colugos, and treeshrews illustrate a powerful evolutionary phenomenon known as adaptive radiation, the rapid diversification of lineages from a common ancestor in response to ecological opportunities. Each Uerchontan lineage explored distinct ecological niches, evolving specialized adaptations to thrive. Primates developed cognitive sophistication, complex social structures, and highly refined arboreal adaptations. Colugos perfected gliding flight, becoming unrivaled specialists in aerial navigation through forest habitats. Treeshrews diversified by adopting generalized yet highly effective ecological strategies, maintaining evolutionary stability while exploiting diverse resources. These distinct evolutionary pathways underscore how natural selection shaped Uerchontan diversity. Geographic isolation, environmental changes, dietary specialization, and ecological competition all influenced their evolutionary trajectories. Each lineage thus represents an evolutionary experiment, a unique solution to ecological challenges presented by their forest habitats. Understanding Uerchonta's evolutionary history illuminates broader patterns within mammalian evolution. It reveals how ecological opportunities, environmental shifts, and selective pressures interact to drive diversification. The Uerchontan narrative emphasizes that evolution is seldom linear or predictable. Instead, it involves repeated experimentation, innovation, and adaptation in response to changing conditions. Uerchontans showcase nature's creative potential, highlighting the many evolutionary routes mammals can take when confronted with environmental challenges. This narrative also has profound implications for understanding human evolution. Primates, as the most prominent Uerchontan lineage, eventually gave rise to humans, creatures capable of self-awareness, sophisticated communication, complex societies, and technological innovation. By studying Uerchontan evolution, researchers uncover fundamental traits and behaviors that eventually shaped human ancestors, ultimately placing our species within a broader evolutionary context. In conclusion, Uerchonta's journey, from humble beginnings in ancient forests to diverse modern marvels, is a vivid testament to evolutionary creativity and adaptation. Primates mastered arboreal habitats, evolving intelligence and social complexity. Colugos took flight, evolving gliding mechanisms unlike any other mammal. Treeshrews, versatile and enigmatic, remind us that evolution never follows a single predictable path. Together, these mammals illustrate the richness of evolutionary experimentation, the power of adaptation, and the continual process of change shaping life on Earth. The rise of Uerchanta, from ancestral shadows to modern marvels, thus stands as both an evolutionary success story and an ongoing puzzle. Each new fossil discovery, molecular analysis, and ecological observation deepens our understanding, reminding us of evolution's creative unpredictability. In exploring their history, we continue not only to understand their story, but also, ultimately, to illuminate our own. Unraveling the Uerchantan story deepens our understanding of our own primate heritage and the intricate web of life. What fascinates you most about this unique group? Share your thoughts and questions below. Like, subscribe, and suggest future topics. Keep exploring, the wonders of evolution await.